So the message today is about friendship. See, when I picked this PowerPoint, Chewy was sitting next to me and he said, "You should find a My Little Pony theme since friendship is magic." But of course, I'm not going to use My Little Pony for church. Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about is the purpose of friendship. Why did God give us people in our lives? So, it says in Ecclesiastes 4, chapter 4, verses 9 through 12, "Two are better than one because they have a good reward for their efforts. For if either falls, his companion can lift him up, but pity the one who falls without anyone to lift him up." I meant lift, not left, but. Also, if two lie down, they can keep warm. But how can one person alone keep warm? If someone overpowers one person, two can resist him. A cord of 3 strands is not easily broken. So let's talk about this verse. So, of course, we know that how people say 2 is better than 1. That 3 is better than 2. The bigger it is, the stronger you are. So in the first one, it says, if you fall, you can have a companion to lift you up, but pity those who don't. So a lot of us know lonely people and people who don't have, and usually, like, for example, I have lots of pets. And I had 2 hedgehogs, and one died, and not long after, the next one died. Well, I had 3 hedgehogs, but you know what I'm saying. So one died, and afterwards, the second one died because, well, of course it got lonely. And usually, you hear when like older people are like getting really old and one passes away and the next one doesn't last that much long after because they're lonely and they don't feel that comfort of someone else with them. It's kind of like that. So it says to pity those who are lonely and to pity those who don't have one to keep warm. And then it says that someone overpowers one person, 2 can resist them. And a cord of 3 strands is not easily broken. Now, when I was reading this verse, I was wondering why it said 3 strands instead of 2. But then I was like, you know what? I'm that Gen Z kind of girl. I went on Google and I was like, why does this verse say 2 instead of 3? Well, it includes God in there too, because in your friendship, God is supposed to be one of the strands. And so in this message, I'm going to talk about how your friendship is supposed to be and how God is included in your friendship. So the next verse says, "Then the Lord God said, 'It is not good for a man to be alone. I will make a helper corresponding to him.'" Genesis 2:18. So, of course, this was Genesis, so it's Adam and Eve. Now, you could wonder why God didn't just make Adam and let him rule the world and be a cool guy and be king and, But where would the world be? It would just be Adam if he just made Adam. So, of course, he made Eve too, but of course, Eve had to be a little stupid and had to go, "Oh, let me go to my snake friend instead." Well, guess what? In this message, we're also going to learn about bad friends and how they can corrupt you. So, next is the fruit of the Spirit. So, the fruit of the Spirit can have a lot to do with your friendship. Turn to your neighbor and say, "Fruit of the Spirit." So, whenever I hear fruit of the Spirit, I think of that kiddie song that we play in kids' church. "The fruit of the Spirit's not a coconut." That song is so catchy. So, this verse says, "Therefore, as God's chosen ones, holy and dearly loved, put on compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience, bearing with another and forgiving one another if anyone has a grievance against another." Ooh, this verse. I want you guys to read over that verse again real quick because that's kind of a lot to take in. So the first one is compassion. when you have a friend, you should always have compassion. I'm sure you guys heard of the golden rule in school, right? The don't do to other people what you won't want people to do to you. I'm sure you guys have heard that. That's kind of like compassion. Let's say my friend Elizabeth is over here and she doesn't have any food for lunch and I have 2 lunches. And I go, oh, I should probably share with Elizabeth because she doesn't have a lunch. But I want her to starve and I want all the food to myself. That is not being compassionate. And then we have kindness. Of course, you have to be kind to your friend. Who would have a friend and not be kind to them? What kind of friendship would that be? Imagine right now you having a friend that's just so mean to you and you cannot even bear to be around them, but you're like, that's my friend. You know, that's like we just went on a mission trip, and the day before we left, I was watching Mean Girls with Chewie and my mom. And the whole movie, they're going on and on about how they obsess about this girl that's so mean to everybody. And they're like, she's so mean, but I'll get over it because she's my best friend. And they're like, I've been such a good friend to her, but she's so mean to me. But I have to stick with her because I've been friends with her forever. That is not a good example of the fruit of the Spirit when it's coming to friends. So the next one, humility. So I've had some friends that need to learn a little bit humility. Because what is humility? It's being humble. That's, of course, a word, humility. It's when you're not having such a big head. Like, let's say Miss Erica's my best friend, and I'm like, oh, Miss Erica's outfit is not as good as my outfit. She needs to go learn somewhere to dress. I had a friend like that, where every time she see me, she'd go, why are you wearing that? It needs to hurt my feelings so bad, too. And I used to always think, and I liked my outfit today. And she'd always go, why are you wearing that? But then I always think, she looks bummy today, too. I don't know why she's looking like that, but of course I'm not going to say that because she's my friend. But we need to have humility. Then gentleness. Okay. In a friendship, sometimes you need to be gentle. Of course, everybody knows the truth hurts, and you should tell your friend the truth. But sometimes you need to be gentle. Like, let's say Miss Donna's dog just died, and she's so sad. And I'm like, Miss Donna, you need to get over it. It's just a dog. You can go get another one. But to her, that dog was all she had. She had no one else. And that dog, she had her whole entire life. And he was like 20 years old, and she loved him even though he had no hair and his tongue was sticking out. She loved him so much because that's the only thing she had. Just like I said, you should pity those who are lonely. But I'm not pitying her because it's just a dog. She needs to get over the dog. So let's be gentle in our friendships. Then patience. Oh my gosh. Everybody knows patience is rough. See, I struggle with patience in my friendships. I have this one friend that she likes to call about 5 times a day for no reason. She'll call me at midnight, and I'm like, oh, hey, girl. She's like, hey, I just wanted to call you because I'm going through a drive-thru and I'm lonely. And I'm like, okay, but I'm trying to sleep right now. She's like, okay, it'll only take like an hour. And so I'm sitting there like dozing off, going to sleep. She's like, hey, can I get a number 3 with extra ketchup and no mayonnaise on my sandwich? And I'm sitting there like, oh. And she's like, hey, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. What were you talking about? Oh, girl, I was just ordering. You don't have to listen. It's okay. I'm going to head back home now. So then I'm like, okay, so are you hanging up? No, I'll just hang up when I get back in my room. So I'm like, okay. And you would think maybe she doesn't have any other friends. So of course I'm going to let her stay on the phone with me because she doesn't have any other friends. And she is my friend. I love her so much. But I don't want to be calling someone at 12 midnight. Anyways, she got tons of other girlfriends, but I guess they don't call. But anyways, sometimes you just need to be patient with a friend because they need it. Okay. Then there's forgiving one another. Of course, forgiveness is quite hard sometimes because sometimes you got to go through all the stages of grief sometimes when it comes to forgiveness. Like, sometimes you got that one friend that will just keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. And you're just like, oh, I'm so tired of them. And then you don't want to forgive them. But then you realize, okay, well, they've been my friend for so long. Maybe I should forgive them. Me, myself, am having problems with that. But forgiveness is a key to a friendship. You cannot keep grudges. That's an ow me for me. I keep grudges. And I'm trying to forgive people right now. I'm getting through. I'm almost there. Like Steve Harvey says, God's not through with me yet. That's me. I'm getting there. Okay? Anyways, next slide. Therefore, encourage one another and build each other up, just as in fact you are doing. 1 Thessalonians 5:11. So we must encourage one another. Today in Sabbath school, this kind of reminded me of something because we were talking about motivation. And I watched this show, and the girl is giving birth. And when she's giving birth, the mother tells her, just 5 minutes of pain for a lifetime of happiness. And so she ends up having the baby. That encourages her to have the baby. But it's funny because later on in the show, her friend is giving birth to a baby. So she tells her the same thing. 5 minutes of pain for a lifetime of happiness. And the friend ends up cursing her out and tells her, I don't need to hear that right now. But she's saying it in a whole different language. She ends up telling her something like, you milking dog, leave me alone. And it's so funny because in Sabbath school we were talking about how some people need to hear the harsh way to be motivated, while other people need to hear the soft way. So then after she yelled at her like that, she goes, you know what? You better push that baby out right now. And she was like so scared of her. Okay. And she pushes the baby out. So sometimes we just need to find ways to encourage our friends, even if it's not talking to them. Maybe that'll encourage them. Even if it's a little tap on the shoulder. Hey, are you okay? That might encourage them. Like today we were talking about some stuff to encourage people. You can text them, hey, how you feeling? You doing okay? Like Miss Erica mentioned, she texts her niece, hey, I need you to come take care of my kids just so she can know she's thinking about her. So it's always important to encourage a friend. So this next verse says, be devoted to one another in love. Honor one another above yourselves. So in the Bible it says, love your neighbor as yourself. So turn to your neighbor and say, I love you, neighbor. I got you. I love you, neighbor. So as you know, the Bible does say that. Love your neighbor as yourself. But in this verse, it's saying to devote yourself in love. So, of course, you're not going to be in love with your friend, okay? That's my girlfriend. That's my boyfriend. No, I don't mean like that. I mean like friendly love. And then there's honor. Honor is a big word. Honor is a real big word. The Bible talks a lot about honor. If you remember learning in kids' church, the 10 Commandments, it says, honor your father and mother. So this is kind of the same kind of honor. Because this honor, you have to honor your friends at the same time honoring God while you're honoring your friends. So here's some other ways to describe honor. Honor gives value, it gives quality, a sense of price, and enhances reputation. So I like that enhanced reputation because sometimes there's this thing called National Best Friends Day where I post all my friends on usually Instagram because I don't use Snapchat that much. I'll post it on Instagram and go, oh, this is my best friend. Happy Best Friends Day. And sometimes I'll get a little mad because they don't post me back. But then they'll be, oh, sorry. My phone was dead yesterday. And I'm like, oh, it's okay. I got you, girl. It's okay. But sometimes we like to post about our friends on Best Friends Day or any type. That is also giving them honor. You're showing them off to people, talking about this person has value because they are my friend. They are important to my life. In this sense, we should be the same way about God. Because when we go out in public and we're acting like, oh, who is God? If someone is on the street talking about the gospel, shouting, oh, this is my God. Know him. Jesus loves you. This is my God. And you're going to turn the other way because you don't want to give that kind of attention. That is doing the opposite of honor. And so honor also gives a sense of price. So when you are ignoring and not showing off that God is your friend, you are lowering his sense of price, his quality, and his value. Now, of course, we know God has a big reputation, but it shows less of a reputation in your life if you do not give him honor, the same as your friends. So, let's look at some examples of some friendships in the Bible. So first we got David and Jonathan. So, as soon as he had finished speaking to Saul, the soul of Jonathan was knit to the soul of David. And Jonathan loved him as his own soul. So not even like he just loved him. He was his own soul. He could feel him like he was himself. It says, and Saul took him that day and would not let him return to his father's house. So basically Saul was after David because he was jealous of him because David was getting attention from the war, whatever. Okay. Then Jonathan made a covenant with David because he had loved him as his own soul. And Jonathan stripped himself of the robe that was on him and gave it to David, and his armor, and even his sword, and his bow, and his belt. And David went out and was successful wherever Saul sent him, so that Saul set him over the men of war. And this was good in the sight of all the people, and also in the sight of Saul's servants. So Jonathan ended up giving David everything to protect him from the war because he loved him, of course. So I read a little bit about this story. I didn't put it on here because that would be a lot of reading. Basically, David goes off to war and he comes back. And all the girls are like in love with David. And they're like, oh, Saul killed 1,000, but David killed 10,000. We love him so much. And Saul gets jealous and he's like, why is he getting all the attention? He's just this little boy named David. He don't need all that attention. And he's like, oh, I hate this. And then Saul gets mad because David is a man of God. And Saul's acting a little crazy and he's not listening to God right now because he's not being friendshiply. And so he starts going crazy. And so David sees that because Saul tried to come at him with the spear. Crazy man. And he goes to Jonathan. He goes, Jonathan, I think Saul is going to kill me. And he's like, no way. Why? He wouldn't do that without telling me. And he's like, it's because he knows I'm your best friend. He's going to try to kill me. He doesn't believe him. So David goes, oh, you know what? Go tell Saul something about me and the servant. I don't really remember what about the servant, but he goes, and if he gets angry, he wants to kill me. And he's like, okay, but I don't think he wants to kill you. Long story short, he goes to Saul. Saul ends up getting married and starts lifting up his spear like he's getting angry. His face is turning red. And he's like, ah! His veins popping out and everything. And Jonathan's like, I've never seen him like this. So he tells David to go. Get away from Saul. I want to protect you. You are my best friend. So they end up being such good friends that when Jonathan dies, David ends up raising his kids. So they were very good friends. If you guys want to go read about it, it's in 1 Samuel. If you want to go read on Jonathan and David. Next, we got Ruth and Naomi. This is one that a lot of people hear of. So Ruth and Naomi. Look, said Naomi, your sister-in-law is going back to her people and her gods. Go back with her. But Ruth replied, don't urge me to leave you or to turn back from you. Where you go, I will go, and where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God, my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. May the Lord deal with me, be it ever so severely, if even death separates you and me. When Naomi realized that Ruth was determined to go with her, she stopped urging her. So this is a good example of friendship. Because even though she could be going with her family, she wants to stay with Naomi. Even if they go through really hard times, she will sacrifice her comfort to go with Ruth. Right? Or Naomi. Go with Naomi. So, such thing as bad friends. I'm sure all of us has had a bad friend. Raise your hand if you've had a bad friend. I could raise like a leg. Maybe both legs if I could. But I'm sure we've all gone through a bad friend. And I'm sure once at a time we've all acted like a bad friend once or twice. But we're all human. It's okay. So, bad friends. Here are some verses that describe a bad friend. A perverse person stirs up conflict, and a gossip separates close friends. So everybody always hears in school when they're like, oh my gosh, she's a gossip. It's never a good thing. I had a guy in my class that got voted gossip, and he was so proud of it. And I was like, why are you proud of that? That's not good. To be voted a gossip is not good. I actually just finished this show where it's about this girl who is a gossip. And she basically gets famous because all these people are hearing all the rumors of people's business, and they're like, whoa, I didn't know that this happened to so-and-so, or this so-and-so was pregnant, and she got married to this guy so she could hide it. I didn't know this, and this, and this, and this, so she gets famous about it. But then the queen in the show is like, oh, she's stealing my thunder. I want to get rid of her. And so then she's like hiding her identity because it's bad to be a gossip. She's like, I don't want nobody to find out who I am. Her best friend finds out and then breaks up with her because she's a gossip. Because you know what she did? She said something about the best friend. She's gossiping about the best friend. And she was like, no, I promise I was trying to protect you. She wasn't. She's being a bad friend. And we do not do that. Gossiping is bad. Don't talk bad behind your friend backs. Anybody ever heard the phrase of backstabbing? That's what it is. Imagine someone coming up behind you and stabbing you in the back. You thought that was your friend. Okay? Looking at you, Jordan. Don't backstab nobody. Then the next one. Walk with the wise and become wise. For the companion of fools suffer harm. So, this is kind of like if you hang out with these guys that do drugs, you're most likely gonna do drugs. But if you hang out with these guys that save up their money, they're trying to buy a house, they're doing good things, they're opening businesses, they're just like making a whole bunch of money because they're doing what's right. You're most likely gonna do the right way because you're friends with them. So my dad would always tell me, you know what my mom used to tell me when I was little? And I'd be like, what? I'd usually be crying because he's usually fussing at me. I'd be like, what? He'd be like, she said, let me show you your friends and I'll tell you who you are. And it's kind of like that. Because whoever you hang around is probably what you're going to act like. Because you have their influence on you. Of course I'm going to try to go be friends with people I like. Why would I go be friends with someone who, like, smokes if I didn't want to do that? You know what I mean? Like, why? If I saw that someone is constantly smoking and all they do is smoke and I'm like, I want to be friends with them, that would probably mean I want to go smoke. You know what I mean? So this is what that verse means. But it says, walk with the wise and become the wise. So let's say I'm like, I see this person now. I'm about to go to college. So let's say I go to college and this girl befriends me and I'm like, I want to see where this goes. But then I find out she's a hard partier. And I don't want that for me because I'm trying to get my relationship stronger with God right now. And she's going to distract me. And I'm probably going to go party and get myself in big trouble and lose myself and then probably get addicted to drugs and then probably not finish my degree and then probably be homeless. And then my parents are never going to talk to me again. So then I'm just like, oh, you know what? I don't want to be friends. I respect you. You respect me. I love you, you love me, but I don't want to go to parties with you. And then I find this other person who's going on mission trips, wants to go get people saved, is looking for a roommate because she's getting a house, and I want to start trying to be independent. So I should go be friends with her, right? Because then we could share a house together. I can learn to go pay my own bills. I get a good roommate. She's also my friend. My parents think I'm pretty cool because I'm on my own. And I'm still in school and thriving and making A's. That's a good friend. I'm walking with the wise. So let's look on the next one. Do not be misled. Bad company corrupts good manner. Same thing. Well, it usually says manner. It says character here. But that's basically the same thing. Let's say Miss Erica's feeling a little lonely. She's like, you know what? I need to go find a new friend. And she thinks this person is all that. They're a great friend, doing all this. But then she realizes he like scams people on the side and steals their money. Miss Erica, what are you going to do? She says she's not going to be friends with him. Because then, what if she's desperate? He's probably going to offer her, hey, I could get you a little money on the side if you just like send this text to somebody and then get their information again to their account and then steal all their money. And Miss Erica's probably going to be desperate for money because she got 3 kids and she need to take care of her kids. And she's going to be like, okay, am I going to get in any trouble? And he's going to be like, no. Okay. And then she gets arrested. But she made the good choice not to go with bad people. Good job, Miss Erica. And so basically, in this message, I need you guys to learn, don't be with bad people, be with good people, and make good choices, and be a good friend. Now, there's one thing I want to mention. If you're like, oh, I don't got no friends, I'm so lonely, which sometimes I feel like that. I'm like, I don't got no friends. All I have is my boyfriend, and he wants to go hang out with his friends all the time. And I'm like, I'm lonely. Then I'm like, hey, snap out of it. Because then I realize. And then my dad tells me, and then I hear it in his message when my dad's up here and he's talking, and I'm like feeling guilty because he's like, talking about me, even though he's not actually talking about me. He's talking about something I do, and he's talking about how you can't say you don't got no friends if you're not trying to go and make some friends. Because how am I going to go, oh, yeah, I went to this party. I didn't make any friends. And then Ms. Donna goes, but did you not say hi to anybody? No, because nobody came and said hi to me. Then it's like, okay, then that's your fault. You could have went up to them and said, hey, my name is Lizzie. My favorite color is yellow. What's your favorite color? You know, it's not too hard to make a friend, which I need to remind myself, because whenever I say I'm feeling lonely, I need you guys to get on me for that. Because fun fact about me, I'm not very much a people person. People get on my nerves. That's why this message is a little hard for me, because I got to learn some compassion, guys, okay? I realize that. I'm trying to be good to my friends, don't worry. Which so far I'm doing pretty good. I haven't blown up on anybody. But if it were me, I would not be going up to some party saying, hey, my name is Lizzie and my favorite color is yellow. I'd be out on the side talking about I want to go text my boyfriend. I miss him so much. And that's why I ain't got no friends, because I'm always texting my boyfriend. But now I'm trying, okay? I went to orientation this past month, and I made a new friend. And you know what I did? She goes, hi, my name is Katie. I go, hi, my name is Lizzie. Nice to meet you. She goes, where are you dorming in? I go, oh, I'm dorming here. She goes, no way. I'm dorming in that same building. What's your room number? This is my room number. No way. I'm down the hall from you. And I go, what? That's crazy. So then we start talking. And then she's like, yeah, I have 8 siblings. And I'm like, you got 8 siblings? I go, I love big families. I got 4 siblings and a whole bunch of god siblings. And she's like, oh, okay. I said, so why'd you pick to come to school here? And she's like, oh, I wanted to go far away. But then I love my farm animals. I go, wait, you got a farm? She goes, yeah. I go, I basically have a farm too. And now I'm like, well, yay, I can't wait to see you when the fall semester starts. Guess what? I made a new friend. Because I said, hey, I didn't tell her my favorite color, though. I should have. But it's not that hard to go make a friend. And when we're making friends, that is the Christian way. Because God is love. So we are little, not little gods, but we are little Jesus Christ little people. And we are supposed to be of love. So if you're not going to go say hi to people, what kind of Christian are you? Because think about it. What do you think of when you think of Christians, other than the rumors of us being hypocrites from the weird people? When I think of a Christian, I think of someone coming up to me, being very friendly, telling me how God has worked in their life and how I should be like that too. And how they have gone through struggles, but they're still pushing through. That is what I think of when I think of a Christian. If you aren't making no friends, you're not being like a Christian. Because Christians got friends. Christians are popular. They're like, hey, Sarah. I know Sarah. Oh, that's Amy. I know Amy. Oh, that's Jonah. I know Jonah because we got baby Jonah over there. I know Jonah. How you know them? I went to church with them because I invited them a long time ago. And now you're popular, all because of church. Isn't that cool? So, I'm going to wrap it up here, but basically, we all need to learn to make some friends and be good friends, right? Now, bad company corrupts good character. Walk with the wise and become wise. And a gossip Look at you guys learning. Don't gossip. If you want to know what show I was talking about, I was talking about Bridgerton. That thing is crazy. Now you got to skip some scenes because that show is not Christian. But it's really good. Anyways, so you can learn to be a good friend on there too, because that little girl was not being no good friend. Okay? But this message is kind of an ow me for everybody. I don't think everybody's a perfect friend, but we all got learning to do. So thank you for your time. Bye-bye.